Okay, so in the last video I explained how to clean up the character section. We're going to continue the character section, except now we're going to finish out the guarantor analysis. Okay, so you might be wondering, what in the world does this chart mean? Well, we're going to get to that. Just give it a second and it'll all make sense soon. Okay, so what you're going to need to do is go to guarantor, and where it says personal financial statement, open the personal financial statement. Okay, I already have mine open. You're going to need to open up the Excel. In the Excel, go to guarantors. Okay, and we're going to fill out guarantor 1. Some of you guys have 2 guarantors, so you're going to have to fill out this chart 2 times. Some of you have 3 guarantors. You're going to have to fill it out 3 times. So we're going to start it off with the date. Date 3/24/2025. That's my date. That's not your date. Make sure you look at what date it is. 9/62. 9/62. And remember, this is in thousands, you guys. This is in thousands. This is not in hundreds. This is in thousands. So that means 962,000, not $962. $962,000. Okay. So 962. No marketable securities, private securities 2745. Cars. Cars, we're just gonna put that in other assets. 425. Oh, he's pretty flashy too. That's an expensive car. Commercial real estate, we're gonna put that in other real estate. 4323. And then homestead, we're gonna put that in homestead. And homestead, that's your primary residence. So maybe it'll say primary home. That's gonna go into homestead. If it doesn't fall into any of these, put it into other assets. So if you have 401k IRA, that's going to be retirement. If you have jewelry and art, that's going to go in other assets. If you have cars, that's going to go into other assets as well. So cars, 340, that's a liability of 340. Mortgage, we're going to do 433. Other debt, so other debt, that's going to be 1945. And you might be wondering, well, why didn't you put contingent liabilities into other debt? The reason being is that if you go down far enough, you can see the section that says contingent liabilities. Now, contingent liabilities is 1400. You might also be wondering, where in the world did you get that number of contingent liabilities, and why is it different than why is their total liabilities different on the guarantor one that you just filled out compared to the guarantor one that's over here? Well, the reason why is because contingent liabilities are liabilities that you only have to repay in case of someone else's default. So no one is defaulted, meaning that these are contingent. And actually, there's key terms right here. The key terms: contingent liabilities are liabilities which the guarantors are liable for in case the liability's true borrower defaults. They're not reported on the guarantor's balance sheet, but still are vital information, hence our breakout for contingents. Okay? Okay. Homestead is the primary residence of the guarantor. I mean, this stuff is it's just right there. It's in your face. I mean, I shouldn't even have to explain some of this stuff. Guarantor data entry instructions. I mean, it's right here. If you get confused and this video didn't do a good job explaining it, there's the information right there. Okay? You got it right there. All right. Guarantor number 1. We're not going to leave it at guarantor number 1. We're going to write the guarantor's name. My guarantor's name is Jonathan Verde. Okay. We're going to remove these 2. Hide. Open that up. Open that up. Okay. For the most part, this might be it. This might be it. Oh, right. Cash flow. And you might be wondering, where did those come from? Where did the contingent liabilities come from? So Right. And you might be wondering, what is the privately held securities? If you scroll down, right, you have this, the normal balance sheet. We have a breakdown of what everything is on the balance sheet. So you see where it says cash, they have two checkings accounts, which breaks up that 962. They have privately held securities, which is, in my case, it's Iron Plow Grains. Now, some of you guys might have different information than me, but I'm still going to show you how to fill that section out. So you're going to need this chart on the second page. Remember, this is the second page of the personal financial statement for the guarantor. So anyways, I've just about finished filling this out. All I need to do now is fill out the income statement. Okay. So free cash flow, right here, where it says income statement, that's the data I'm gonna grab. Salary income 354. Okay. Distribution income 167. That's how much cash he distributes out of the company in a typical year. 167. Income before taxes 521. Add backs from taxes. Taxes 115. Add backs from taxes 110. So you can do this, or you can do what it says right here. Taxes is 37% of total income equals 0.37 times you know what I could have done? Times that. Boom. 193. So that's the maximum they could have been taxed. They told us how much they were taxed. This is per 2024 tax return. This is their tax return for 2024. So we're not going to estimate taxes. We know how much they paid in taxes. We know the exact amount they paid. Okay? That's why we're not going to do it that way. And then other income, we're just going to put $5. Okay? Guarantor free cash flow is $411,000. Well, don't move too fast. You see where it says living expenses? 20% of total income. We're going to do equals 526 times 0.2. Right? Mortgage. We don't know how much he's paying in mortgage, but we can come here. Now, you're going to have two things of mortgages. You're going to have your commercial properties mortgages, and then you're going to have your homestead mortgage. The homestead mortgage is going to be different because you're actually going to be paying down money every single year. Okay? Amortization, interest, annual payment. They're paying $97,000 every single year on their mortgage. So we're going to put 97.27. And you see where we got that. We got that from the second page where it says Homestead, Templegate Drive, Houston, Homestead, held Bank of America, 97.27. That's how much they pay annually. And then they also have their Porsche 911, 97.27. Oh no, 96.24. So they're paying $96,000.24 every year. Okay, now we have $112,000. That's much more representative of what they're actually going to be paying. If you wanted to go and run these numbers yourself, you can gather all the information on amortization of 60 months, amortization of 360 months, and you can go and plug that in to the debt service coverage ratio charts over here, and you'll get a number very similar to the numbers that are here. Okay, I'm not going to do it, but you can do it if you need to do it, if you want to be able to visualize it better. Okay, now for here, the reason why we're not going to take out the commercial properties is because these properties are income producing, and they did not recognize that as income here. If they did, it would say something like real estate income, but it doesn't say real estate income. And remember, these buildings, um, again, they're income producing, and yeah, I mean that's it in a nutshell. I mean that's the whole reason why they're income producing. Okay, now that we've done that, we filled this out. We're gonna take this, copy it as a picture, and remember, if you don't have the capacity to copy it as a picture, then what I want you to do is gather it as a screenshot, take the screenshot, okay? Move this out of the way. I don't want to see green squares in the screenshot. I want to see a screenshot that's clean and neat. Get it like this. No barriers. Just clean. That's a clean screenshot. Watch when I paste this. That's, you see how neat that is? That's a neat screenshot. That's how y'all need to be screenshotting it. Don't screenshot it, and don't screenshot it if you have it like this. Come on. This looks crazy. Like look at this. Look at this screenshot. And then you'll have like this section over here. Come on, look at this. Look at this. This isn't a good screenshot. This is a bad screenshot. Because now I have all this random stuff. Actually, let me go further down so that you can see just how unneat this is. Look at this. This isn't a good screenshot. Don't do a screenshot like that. If you're gonna be taking a screenshot, move this out of the way and take the screenshot. Get the screenshot very neat. Just the sections that are inside of the actual spreadsheet you're trying to get a picture of, and then it should look like this. It should be clear as day what you're screenshotting. It should be just this. This is how the screenshot should look. I feel like I shouldn't be going over screenshots anymore. Anyway, copy as picture, as shown when printed. Copy blah blah blah. Anyway, we're in it. Delete that. Put this where that used to be. Now we have this section. Now, if you want to make this section a little bit easier to understand and easier to read, what I like to do is I like to take this, right, and I like to put that there. I like to put that at the top. And this is very, very handy if you have more than one guarantor. So if you have two guarantors, I highly suggest you put this here. It'll come in use later on when you're actually filling out the summary of everything. Guarantor analysis, right? So where are all their assets being held? Where are they getting these things from? Okay, that's what we want to know now. Cash breakdown. Cash breakdown, simple. And some of you guys are going to have marketable securities. I want you to break down marketable securities the same way I'm going to break down cash. We're going to say held with Chase Bank. We're going to say money sign 307.84 M held with Chase Bank. And then we're going to say, so now I'm going to fill out this cash section and come back. Right, so I just filled it out. I want y'all to say held with who it's held with, and I want to know the amount. I want to know how much is held with who. How much is held with who. Okay? Now you can do 651M, or you could just do 651M. You could do 307M, or you could do 307.84M. Me personally, I don't like decimals. I'm getting rid of those. That's just me. Now, when we come down to free cash flow, you might be wondering, how do we calculate this cash flow over here? That's what's over here. Income estimated. Personal expenses. That means your living expenses. Living expenses. Okay, so we're going to say living expenses of, let me say 105M is estimated at 20% of total income. Right? Because remember what we did was we took 20%. We took 20% of 526. 526 is other income, distributions, and salary. 526 times 0.2 equals living expenses, right? In other words, that's 105. And I'll run the math real quick. 526 times 0.2, which is 20%, equals 105.2, right? 105. That's how we got that. 20% of total income. Income estimated. Income is taken as stated on 2024 tax returns. On tax returns. And let's actually move this bullet point up. Okay. Now, taxes. Taxes. There's two ways you could have gotten taxes. You could have done taxes are estimated at 37% of total income, or you could say, and this is what I'm gonna say, taxes are taken as stated on 2024 tax returns. Because remember, I didn't estimate taxes. I took taxes just as it was stated on their tax return here. Just as it was stated on their tax return. And the reason why everything is different here is because remember, we have a mortgage, we have other debt, okay? That's what changes it up. So now we're going to come down here and I'm going to write down all the other assets that they have. So I'm going to break down their homestead. I'm going to break down their cars, or not their cars. I'm going to break down other assets, commercial real estate. No, not commercial real estate. Other real estate, private securities, and that's all that they have, right? So I'm going to go ahead and finish this section, and then I'm going to unpause it, and then you'll understand where I got all that information. So I went ahead and filled out the rest of the section. So we have our homestead, other assets, other real estate, right? And it just follows along here. So we have, like I said, homestead, other assets, other real estate, private securities, contingent liabilities. And the reason why we have contingent liabilities broken out is because our other debt is broken out within the specific sections. So right here, homestead, I want y'all to fill out all of these sections using this as a template. We have our location first, estimated market value, mortgage or the outstanding loan balance, terms of a mortgage, and I'm referring to the amortization, amortizing over and again, this is another short video. It should be able to explain everything that's going on. Again, mortgage, interest rate, annual payment if you have it. I also want you guys to add a comment in your other real estate section stating this: please note that other real estate was excluded from the free cash flow due to its income being unreported. Remember, this is income generating real estate, and since they didn't report that income, it holds a lot less information, so we can't take that out of the cash flow just yet. Okay, so again, just read what I've wrote it and then follow along my same template. So here I say other assets, Porsche 911, Porsche 911, I'm tripping. Other assets, Porsche 911, and this could have been a sub bullet. It was simply my choice not to make it a sub bullet because I only have one other asset. Now, if I had two other assets, then it would be a sub bullet, right? It will be a sub bullet, and every single bullet is going to be another thing to say. But there is no other one, so I didn't create a sub bullet. Anyways, other assets, Porsche 911, estimated market value. Then I want to know how much of the balance is outstanding, who holds that balance, how long amortization do they have, how much interest, and then what's the annual payments come out to, right? So there's going to be one, two, three, four, five, six, seven components to each statement being made. The first, what is it? And for the homestead, for the real estate, it's not going to be what is it, it's going to be where is it. Then estimated market value, outstanding balance, who is it held with, amortization, interest rate, and then annual payments. When it comes to the privately held securities, most likely it's going to be their ownership of their business. I just want to know the business name, estimated market value. Copy my statement exactly for the contingent liabilities, except your debt is going to be different. Remember, your debt is based on the debt schedule in the CFAD section. So the CFAD section, if we scroll all the way down, I have 1 million. We can disregard the subordinated debt, and then we have 250K, right? That's where I got that from. That's where my amortization or my debt schedule comes from. So we can just say my 1.4 million in contingent liabilities consist of all debt as broken out in the debt schedule in the CFAD section. Now keep in mind I have 1.4 million here, and my CFAD section says I have 2.25 million. Now keep in mind the subordinated debt is not included in contingent liabilities, right? Now this $1 million RLOC is, and that $250,000 term note was originally $400,000, and they paid it down to 250K. Okay, that's how I came up with $1.4 million. Now you're gonna take it as it's stated here on the financial statements. And remember, it might be a little different. Don't worry about it if it is. Okay, so that's how you're gonna complete this section. Once you completed this section, you should now have a fully completed character section. It's very wordy, I know, but the whole point is to get it done so that you can understand how to run this analysis on this section. Okay? Alright. Okay. Let me page break this. Remember, don't be afraid to use that page break. And then, honestly, let me go layout margins. Okay. Anyways, this is how mine looks. And that's how you guys should look. Now let's go and check what our risks are. And let's see if there are any. There are no risks relating to the guarantor. Okay, good. So we're good in this section. This is all you need to do. Again, another short video for the most part. Good luck.